Hey, this is Ariel, and I am so excited to have a guest, a friend, a client, someone that I've known for a long time. Welcome, Manifest.
Yeah, it's awesome. I get to be all three. That's so
You're all
sweet.
three. And he also has a name. It's Chris, but I know
Yes,
you as your artist name, so that's how
absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely. So good to be here.
So Chris and I have recently reconnected. For those of you who don't know him, I'm going to let him introduce himself, but he has been doing a whole lot of things, not only releasing his own music as a successful artist in his own right, but also helping artists to understand the confusing world of marketing, which we're going to talk about today. So please do introduce yourself. I'd love for you to tell them and not me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been doing music since 2001. That's when I released my first EP. So that's 18 years in the game. We've released, I think, a total of 13 albums. A lot were licensing deals with a label called Tooth and Nail in Seattle. On my third record, that's when we got signed to a licensing deal, no advance. Quit my job, pounded the road, went broke, $30,000 in debt, forced myself to learn how to market my music and sell it and write radio friendly songs. Had some success on the radio, had some success in Japan, blew up in Japan, believe it or not. We sold tens and tens of thousands of records there. I got to tour over 22 different countries. I left the label system happily. I like to say I fired my record label. Radio forsook me. All of a sudden stopped playing my songs. At least a lot of them did. And so I had to learn how to market my music. And I will just say this, over those 18 years, even though I was signed, I like to say me and my wife, because my wife's my business partner and graphic designer and best friend. And we always operated as a label. We always operated with an independent mindset, which I think is the only reason that I'm still here today, because I've been able to survive outside of the label system. And it's 2019. I guess in 2014, I had my daughter, and that's when I also started to teach what I had learned. Because in the green rooms, before hitting the stage, I'm always talking to artists. Hey, dude, did you get your Sound Exchange check? I got mine. It was awesome. Oh, what's Sound Exchange, dude? Oh, you don't know what that is? Okay. Hey, man, did you get paid from SoundCloud? No, dude, I didn't know you could monetize SoundCloud. Oh, okay. What about YouTube, man? And just finding out nobody knows this stuff, because they're always like, oh, my manager will handle that. My record label handles that. And it's just like, that's why you're driving. When you get off this tour, you're going to drive for Uber, and I'm going to work on more songs. You know what I mean? And it's because I educated myself. And so that's the kind of long short of it. So I'm still doing music, still helping artists, and stoked to be here with you today.
Amazing. So I'm trying to remember the year we actually finally started working together.
It was
2009.
2000, was it 9 or 10?
Okay.
What
Okay.
record it was. I bet you if I looked on my hard drive, I could find my uh, report that I got from you guys. I'll see if I can find it somewhere. I should have found it before we
Amazing.
got on this call. I'll be like, you know, I still remember our coaching call, and we'll get into all that stuff, but it's been a journey.
So that journey and those coaching calls. So for those of you that know, I run a PR firm. The dirty secret about what we always did here at Cyber PR was we weren't just a PR firm. We were very much into empowering our artists and helping them understand whatever confusing thing was coming up. And you were always up for those coaching calls. A lot of clients would not want them. They're just like, just please do my PR and leave me alone. And those artists are not, most of them, around anymore. So I think you really do have to take on so much more than just making music, playing, recording, rehearsing, the yummy stuff. You have to take on the stuff that I think is kind of painful. And that's what you're teaching artists to do. So here we are, top of 2019. In the pre-call, you and I talked about the new reality is we're in a singles market. We're in a market where people are consuming music in singles format. I'd love for you to share a little bit about how you're navigating this new market, with singles being such a focus and do you have a system that you follow for releasing singles, or how are you doing it these days?
Yeah, I'll share a few strategies that are working for me, and to give some artists some ideas. Spotify is really crushing it for me personally, and the algorithm, which can really share your music, and you can get on that Discover Weekly. You can get added to playlists, and so I've been trying to release a new song every 6 to 8 weeks, every 10 weeks. Because I want to trigger that Spotify algorithm and all my followers to get a notification that I've released new music, and kind of stay top of mind. And partly I've been doing that with new songs. I've been doing that with my instrumental albums of my albums. I've been doing that with remixes. And just you can do it with acoustic versions, and just you can even do it with a live version. It doesn't always have to be a brand new song. But what I always say to artists is, right when you get the master, you don't go, hey, let's just whip it out there and have it released 4 days later, because that doesn't allow you to submit to the Spotify curators that you can do now through Spotify once you've uploaded it to, say, a CD Baby, TuneCore, or DistroKid, just for examples of digital music distributions. Once you've got it uploaded there and you say you've got your release, you need to set that at least a month and a half and plan ahead so that you can give these Spotify editorial curators time to check out your song and hopefully get it added to a playlist. And since I've been doing that, I've been getting added to more playlists. Imagine that. And what that resulted in is thousands of more streams. And one other thing I'll just share that really exciting, because I could just go on and on about this, and I feel like I already dropped a few things there, is that with my single cover and my artwork, for the first time, we were able to do this with a single, not an album, a single, where we took the artwork and we put that on a t-shirt and did a campaign around the single, not just the album. I think you can do campaigns around the single, and the reason we can do that is because there's this amazing thing called print on demand, where I can just upload that design to a company like Printful or Gear Bubble. There's a few other ones. And so I can hey, here's the single, here's the shirt. I was wearing my own shirt. I got a sample made, so I had the shirt, and I posted myself wearing it, and we sold a bunch. And so I could turn these like this is what you're saying, Ariel. It is a singles market, but I think one of the things we're all trying to figure out is, well, how do I maximize it? And so that means you need to create as much content and stuff around that single. And that's just one idea. Of course, lyric cards, music video if you want, lyric video, so many things more you can do. But I think that gives them a few ideas to get running on it. And
I'd like to also point out that, yes, we're in a singles market, but where I see a lot of artists making mistakes, and I know you do too, is it is exhausting, because we're now sort of in an always cycle, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, every 10 weeks, whatever choices you make about how often you want to release singles. I want to point something out. Chris is talking right now about Spotify and using his last single and really working on Spotify right now. But our philosophy here is each single can have a different path. So one single you might choose, because you've got a great video, to use that single to grow your YouTube subscribers. Maybe one single has a message in it or supports a charity, like Cassandra Kavinsky just put out a wonderful track this week, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze, about dogs and animal rescue. And so cool. So if you're doing something like that, maybe you want to do it on Facebook, where people can share photographs of their dogs and get in the conversation about their love for animals. And maybe in a case like that, you choose that single is going to have a Facebook focus, and you set goals around each single. So the freedom in living in a singles market is we no longer have to do what Chris and I did back in the day when I publicized your whole album, which was here we go. We have a whole body of work. We're putting it all out on one day, which back then was a Tuesday. And I would have to really work up to that day of release. And everything happened, it crescendoed on that day. And then music writers would pretty much tell me, well, the album's already out, sorry. And we'd have to come up with the next maybe video or second
story even, Yeah.
So in a singles market, the beautiful thing about it is each single can have a different purpose. And you can begin to plan so that you can round out your marketing efforts so that you don't have to feel like, because it's funny, we're working with a jazz artist right now. She's a little bit of an older artist. She's from Madison, Wisconsin. She plays more wine bars and grown-up venues. And her most recent single, we decided was going to be a Spotify single. And she put a message out to all her fans, hey, pre-save this on Spotify. And her fans didn't really get it because they don't really understand Spotify pre-save. Yeah. So that was a big lesson. It doesn't mean that she shouldn't do that again in the future, but I think her next single, we're going to focus more on Facebook and putting it on Facebook. And that's going to be easier for her audience because they're already on there and they don't have to, get familiar with a whole language they don't understand.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, one thing we did with the single as well is I gave it away for free on Facebook. I tried two things. I gave the single away for an email address, and then on the next page was that t-shirt with a code to get a discount. And then I also did it giving away this song, instead of the email address, get a messenger subscriber. So it gets sent to their messenger. And that's a little bit more not that complicated, but it's messenger bot marketing, but basically it's delivering the song to them via messenger, like getting a Facebook message. I send them the Dropbox link basically, but then I could now market to them via messenger. And I found that really cool as well. But that's probably another conversation.
Cool. What tool did you use for that?
ManyChat is what I used. And so I embedded that on my page with, and I use a software called ClickFunnels as well. Really easy to set up. And it was pretty cool because like instead of putting the name and email, they can just click send a messenger, and like there's less friction. And the open rates are bananas. Like they're just 10 times more than what email are. But the only thing is you just don't own Messenger. As someone said to me during my campaign, the money is in the list, and it still is after all these years. The email is the most powerful thing, I think, because Facebook could just change the rules, and I could spend all this money and get all those Messenger subscribers via ManyChat, and then, Zuckerberg gets pulled into the government again, and they force him to change the rules, and it's like, oh, you can't message these tens of thousands of subscribers you have, but I do have my tens of thousands of emails that I can still email. So you gotta diversify and always don't have your eggs all in one basket, I guess I should say.
So do talk to us about your email list a little bit. That person that said the money's in the list, that was me. And it's the least sexy part of marketing. I spoke to a manager today whose artist was an American Idol winner, and that winner has hundreds of thousands of fans on social media, and their email list is less than 3,000 people, which is shocking. Shocking.
Yeah.
And not an uncommon story. So tell me a little bit about, how are you managing? I know email is not sexy. It's not everyone's favorite. It's hard to deal with it because a lot of it goes into people's spam and or promotions folder. How are you managing your email list, and do you have any tricks to get people to engage?
Absolutely. And it's having fun with it. Okay. I think the reason people they think of it as business, they think they have to sell, or they think they have to be cool, and they think they have to be corporate. First of all, write an email like you would write to a friend. Think of them as your friend. And I just use text. I'll load a couple images at the bottom of something, like some photos from whatever it is, like merch or whatever. But I like to call it infotainment. And I look at it like a blog post, and I try and be funny. I try and put my personality in there. I try to make the subject lines curiosity based. Like I sent something about my new book that we're talking about later, and I put in the subject line, new book, but it's not what you think. What if I put new song, but it's not what you think? You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, I want to open that, and again, like just riding trends and things that are going on. And I always say, like, tell a really good story, like, because we're really talking about marketing here, right? And marketing is boring, but marketing for us artists can be really fun if you're sharing a story about a song. Like, say we're talking about a new single, and that girl Cassandra, I think, about dogs. What if the beginning was like can't believe this happened to my dog, or dog story that'll break your heart, and she starts talking about the dog story, and then she goes, by the way, I wrote a song about this, you should go check it out. So it's like entertain them, be fun, and then lead into it. That's what I always teach, and that's kind of been working really well for me, because it allows me to sell in almost every email, because you're selling yourself, right? But it's without being sleazy, like, go check out my music video, new music video.
Right.
Oh, that's great, new music video. I don't care. But if you say, music video to support, epilepsy or whatever, or something like, you know what I mean? A song I wrote about, like, just connect it to your heart and put that in the subject line, put that in the email. Then you can email your list every day, like I try to do, believe it or not, because
wow, every day.
I try to, yeah. And some people get freaked out about that. And I don't always, but I try to, because I want it to be like, because I'm not being like buy my crap all the time. Like, yes, there is always something like a music video to go look, or I'll send them to a merch or something like that. But it's always like a story, or I try to do really like encouraging and inspiring stuff. Like, I can't remember what I wrote the other day, Dad, and I talked about anxiety. I talked about my anxiety on something, and then I led to my song Fearless, and I think I had my Fearless wristbands. But I talked about just stuff I was struggling with, and people, and you know how if you've hit it, if you get lots of replies.
Right.
If you get lots of replies, then you've pricked their heart.
Right.
And you've touched on something, and that's good. And don't be scared of people unsubscribing. They're probably not going to buy anyways. They're probably really not your fans. They're just the freebie seekers that, were on your list. And because you want to get those off, because when you start to get tens of thousands of emails, or just thousands, it starts to get expensive. And so you only want the hardcores on there. So.
Amazing. So really what you try to foster is that two-way conversation, which is funny. I think a lot of us hate email newsletters because you feel like it's this one-way thing that's coming at you. But really what you're saying is, I'm having a conversation, and that's a beautiful thing. And I bet a lot of your fans answer and feel like they're having a two-way conversation with you. And so you must spend a lot of time answering those newsletter emails.
Sometimes some people respond. And what's another trick too, when you respond, that tells the ISP that's delivering your emails that, oh, these people talk. So there's less of a chance that it'll go in their spam, and it just gets your ratings up and your delivery higher. So you do want to try and respond. Or one idea is like, don't just check out my music video. Check out my music video. Leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite part was. Like you just said, Ariel. Like, bring them into the conversation, because everybody wants to have a voice. Like, it's the same thing with like Instagram. Like, why isn't anyone? I get no comments. I get no likes, because you don't invite people into the conversation. You're not inviting them to be social.
Right.
You're not being social. You think you are posting. That's just not social. Social is, hey, what do you think of this? Did you go see that? What are your thoughts? Like, it's simple. And I'm a culprit of not doing it enough either. And so I don't get the results I want sometimes.
Right. There you go. You always have to remind yourself, how do I want to answer this? If I'm looking at someone else's stuff, that's always the best way to decide if you're doing the right thing with marketing.
Yeah.
So one of the ways that I know you've managed to sustain your career is you are quite fearless when it comes to crowdfunding. And
it's so scary as crap every time. I don't even know what you compare it to. It's like, it's always scary either way when you got to press that go button.
That's for sure. So how many crowdfunding campaigns have you run over the years?
I think we've done six.
Six.
1 book and 5 albums. Yeah, Reborn, Stones. Wait, no, Moment. It was before I signed some Moment. Sorry, Fire Reborn. Yeah, it's like 5 or 6.
That's
6 or 7.
a lot.
Like that.
And tell me about those. So I mean, I know so many artists that are like, I tried it once, I'll never do it again, because it felt like such a soul-sucking experience. And in my book, Crowd Start, I interviewed a lot of artists that definitely said they felt a lot like carnival barkers. They didn't love the whole experience. I know Kickstarter is your crowdfunding platform of choice. Is that where you continue to, and what you continue to use?
That's what I'll use when I do another one. And if we do end up doing one this year, I did one last year for a remix record. It did not go as well. Part of it was the platform, but part of it I think is because it was a remix, and fans don't necessarily like a remix as much as they want new content. But I will do a Kickstarter. I'm just wanting to do something really, really new. And different than I might not do a CD this time, or I might just do a really limited run of CDs and do something a little out of the box. I haven't decided yet, and I don't want to reveal the idea yet because I haven't seen anyone do this yet, so I'm just not ready to share. But once I've tested it on myself, and whether it failed or whatever, I'll share it with the world. But I'm going to do it again. But it is always scary, and at the end of them, especially if you don't have people helping you package and sign, well, you have to sign it, but like going to the mailbox, like it is a lot of work, but you also make a lot of money if you do it right. And it pays for a lot of the studio and for your merch, especially if you're going to go on tour. And it creates insane amount of buzz, I personally think. And what I like about it, I always say to artists, it's not if you do a crowdfunding campaign, it's when, because they're just so powerful at marketing, and it forces you to do the hard stuff, I think. And you have the ability of making so much more money if you put some thought into it and allow you to do what it is you love, So I really, I hate them and love them.
Right. I understand. So do you have a tip for people that are thinking about crowdfunding? How do you even begin is there a time of year that you think people should crowdfund, or like how should an artist decide if and when it's right for them?
Yeah. When it's your first one, you'll be surprised at how much family, friends, and even fans will get behind you, especially your first one. And it's not about just like the music as it is about just supporting you and why you do the music and why you're doing your heart behind it. And so it's really important to share that in the video, to keep it short, keep it sweet, but have a real cause behind it and what you're doing. For one of them, because my sister was going for her third brain surgery, we decided to team up with a charity, the Epilepsy Foundation, to raise money for epilepsy. And so there's a cause behind that. And, that allowed me to also just share without being sleazy, or feel like I am. But the bigger your why is, like, I could have talked about, losing my dad to suicide, or I could talked about wanting to write a record about a cause even, or something that makes it even bigger than just me. But again, like if you can really get in your head that like you love this music and you believe in it so much, and you can translate that, like, guys, I am so excited because of this song, because my heart was ripped out by this girl or by this guy, and I want to write these songs, and I hope they speak to you. And that's why we made this shirt, to keep loving people or forgive. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up right now.
This is about your why. We're doing a branding course with Bobby, and he said on the first call this week, your branding starts with your why. And in your journey, which has been long, your why changes, right? So sometimes your why was about your sister and raising awareness for epilepsy and talking about something very near and dear. And maybe it's not always that deep. Maybe sometimes the why is, I just want to put out a really fun song and I want everyone to dance. And that's okay. Both of those things are legit, and they're equally interesting from a marketing and fundraising point of view. But I love that's how you chose to share those things. And back to Cassandra, the dog video that she created in the song, a part of the proceeds are going to the Humane Society and to some other charities that support animals. So again, you can always wrap a why in, and I think that sleaziness that you're talking about feels completely transformed when you have a charity, a platform, and another reason why you're doing this involved.
Yeah, and you don't have to have a charity. Like, it can just be the passion, your cause of your music, because your music is going to impact people. And I love how you said it doesn't have to be serious either. It could be just a party rocker song. We just want to party with you guys and give you guys something to party on the weekend. Yeah, like just as long as the passion is there and you're being real and honest, it'll ooze out for sure.
Fantastic. So what are you up to these days in your coaching? I know you've got a lot of different things that you're helping artists do. What's the thing right now?
Right now we're really excited. This book we just kind of launched, the Music Marketing Promotions Guide. I know you got one there too. People can get a free one of this, or we'll talk about that later. But anyways, I've been coaching artists since 2014, and that book specifically is just kind of talking a lot of what we talked about today, but giving you stuff to do every day and tactical things to market your stuff and ideas to wrap your passion around promoting your music every day, giving you different ideas to promote your music every day, because I know what it was like. It's like, I want to talk about it every day. I want to post something every day, but I don't know what to say. There's something in there called the 10X challenge where it gives you, ideas to go contact booking agents each day or contact radio or blogs, but just giving you something to do. Because if you're a psycho about your career like I am, it's just like, I just want to do something, and I want to move it forward today. I want to move it forward. And, I will say, like, I'm always about hard work, but it's not so much about working harder as it is working smarter. And so that's why I called my company Smart Music Business, because I spent the last 18 years doing it the dumb way. And so now hopefully you can do it the smart way. And, teaching artists just how to really leverage this internet thing. Like, if I could go in a time warp, I would go back and I would try and leverage radio. Well, now the internet, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, that is the new radio, the new MTV, the new leverage of being everywhere. So I really help artists how to get their music out there to the masses right from their home. If you want to tour, sure, let's tour, but let's do it smart. None of this grinding it out because, buddy, manager, booking agent just wants to slog it out. I really don't believe in that anymore. I think, I'd rather see someone buy onto a tour or get onto a bigger tour a different way, or build the fan base first. We didn't get into this, but I put the cart before the horse. I was like, I put up my music, so everybody should come see me. It's like, no, put up the music, build the fan base. You've got a fan base there. I'm going to go see my fans because they want me there. Right. And that happened for me in Japan. And imagine why I was so successful, because I had the fan base first. But that's one of the things I teach. I have a mentorship thing called Fan Base University, where I coach artists twice a month. They get a video chat like how we're chatting, and I answer questions and go back and forth, and just sometimes look at their Facebook ads, sometimes look at their posts, listen to songs, just anything you name it, crowdfunding ideas, merch ideas. And I coach because sometimes they aren't ready for a manager or can't afford a manager.
Or they can't get one. I mean, that's the other thing. Artists always ask me, how do I get a manager? How do I get a booking agent? I'm like, well, unfortunately, until you're at a certain level, those things might not be so forthcoming. So it's wonderful that you are offering artists. Everybody needs a coach, right?
Yeah, I do. I hire coaches all the time. So, I'm on my learning journey. So I have because I need to keep learning. Because like if my tank gets empty, I have nothing to fill. Like, I'm learning from you. I'm learning from so many people, and then sharing that. And it's really important. You got to keep learning. And we could go on for an hour about the whole manager thing. But yeah, you need to build your career up to the point where a manager would be interested, because they can make money off of you or take your career to the next level and help you. But you've got to get it to that point where someone can take it farther, but you've got to put the hard work in and get a tour, get all those things going, and some fans so they can help you.
And some money coming in, because frankly, managers work on percentages, not on fees, as do booking agents. So 10% of not very much will not make an interested manager, which is
It's not a charity.
It is not a charity. So to wrap this up, because I could talk to you for hours. Step 1, release singles. We are in a singles world, and you should definitely be thinking about everything that you put out in a singles way. Thing to focus on, number 2, is your email list. Building your email list, communicating back and forth with them so you don't go into the weird promotions folder, and being candid. And thing number 3, working up to crowdfunding and doing crowdfunding, very brave of you, multiple times. So it's not just a one-time, one and done, but it actually is something that allows your fans to go along on a journey with you. I love all of those things.
Yeah, that was good. And they build on each other. Like maybe you're listening to this right now and you've only released one song, or you're scared to, just like you're scared to do a crowdfunding campaign. Well, once you've released one, you'll build the courage to release another one. And you'll learn some things, and you'll get a bigger perspective, and it'll get easier and easier as you do it, you know. So I encourage you, take the leap of faith, do it.
But first, build an audience.
Yeah,
Don't just do it. So how can we get your music marketing promotions guide? I'd love for you to tell them a little bit about that.
Yes, you can go to smartmusicbusiness.com/Ariel. Tell me I said your name right? Ariel? Oh my gosh. It's life, right? It's just my
and at my age, I'll literally answer to anything. It's totally.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Go to smartmusicbusiness.com/Ariel, and you can get a free copy. And it also comes with a video course that walks you through the whole thing. You know, and so we'll actually mail this out to you, and you get the ebook and the audio book. So all you have to do is cover the shipping, and it's only $6.97. So go there and get that, and you will not be disappointed.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your social media drug of choice? Where can they find you if they want to hit you up with a question?
Yes, I would say Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram, Smart Music Business. Just look that up. Same with Facebook or YouTube. We try to post a YouTube video every week, trying to again, and we respond to the comments. I got a guy that helps me as well too, who's an artist, and helps me help you guys. So yeah, anywhere there, Smart Music Business, smartmusicbusiness.com or Fanbase University. If you want to get into the coaching stuff, and it's I think it's like only $5 for the first month, and then $30 a month after that. So it's really, really affordable to try to make it, and you can quit anytime too. So yeah.
But don't quit. Quitting is not.
Don't quit. Well, yeah, you can quit anything. Just don't quit on yourself. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I will see you on the internet, my friend.
Absolutely. Peace.